They picked it up, a hum, so low, barely there, but persistent, unwavering. Nothing like the usual groans of the glacier. Nothing like the songs of whales. This was different, alien. It pricked the ears of science, demanded attention. The sound had a pattern, a rhythm, almost like a heartbeat, slow, deliberate. Its frequency was incredibly deep, lower than anything they expected or understood. Dr. Lena Hansen, the audio expert, was captivated. She played it back, over and over. Dr. Aris Thorne led Krios Base, a veteran of the ice, calm, measured, his face a map of frozen expeditions. He'd seen blizzards swallow mountains, heard icebergs roar like beasts. This new sound, though, it unsettled him. In a way he couldn't quite name, a quiet hum beneath his usual composure. He watched his team, he listened to the ice, and he worried. Dr. Lena Hansen lived for sound. It was her world, young, brilliant, driven by an insatiable curiosity. This deep frequency tone, it was a siren song to her. She barely slept, coffee her fuel, her eyes alight with fierce concentration. She would decode this, understand it. This was her Everest, her grand sonic discovery. Her excitement was a bright, nervous energy in the small base. Ben Carter was the technician, the practical hands, grounded. He kept the machines running, kept them safe. He heard the sound, too, felt it in his bones, a subtle vibration. He trusted his gut, and his gut twisted with unease. They gathered in the cramped common room, Aris, Lena, Ben, the only souls for hundreds of miles. Whale song? Ben suggested hopefully. Lena shook her head. Days turned into a relentless search for the sound's origin. Lena worked tirelessly, cross-referencing signals, from hydrophones spread across miles. The computers hummed, processing data. Aris watched her, concern etched on his face. Ben kept bringing her food, reminding her to rest. But the sound held her captive. Its mystery, a powerful lure. She had to know. Finally, a breakthrough, a triangulation, precise, unmistakable. The sound wasn't from the deep earth, nor the distant open ocean. It was closer, much closer. Lena pointed to the map, her finger trembling slightly. There, she whispered, it's coming from there, from a colossal iceberg, drifting slowly, majestically, in the bay some 15 kilometers away. A giant, newly born from a glacier's flank, or perhaps something far older. The iceberg was a titan, a mountain of ice, its cliffs sheer and dazzling white, streaked with veins of impossible blue. It seemed to breathe, to pulse, a faint inner luminescence, or was it just the play of light? The Arctic sun? It dominated the view, even from afar. A silent, frozen monarch, watching them, waiting. The skidoos sliced through the frozen air, their engines a harsh counterpoint. To the silent, icy landscape, the cold was a physical blow, biting at any exposed skin. Ahead, the iceberg loomed larger, more imposing with every kilometre. It filled their vision. A wall of ancient ice, its song, they imagined, growing stronger, calling them closer. Aris led, his jaw tight. They reached the edge of the stable sea ice, as close as they dared. Ben drilled into the ice, carefully, precisely. Lena supervised the deployment. Of the new sensitive hydrophones and wide-spectrum recorders, the sound here, it was palpable, a deep thrumming that vibrated through the soles of their boots, up their spines, into their very core. Lena's instruments glowed, recording everything. Her face was alight with discovery. Back at Krios Base, exhaustion hit, but Lena was wired. She replayed the new recordings, louder, clearer, more complex. The sound filled the lab. Aris felt that deep unease again, stronger now, a primal warning. He tried to shake it off. They ate a hurried meal. The conversation was muted, dominated by the iceberg's invisible presence. Soon they retired to their bunks. The sound echoed in their minds. Aris woke first, as usual, but something was wrong, terribly wrong. The silence, it was absolute, suffocating. No gentle snores from Ben's bunk, no hum from Lena's lab, and the dogs, their cherished sled dogs, always noisy at dawn, nothing. He pulled on his boots, heart hammering. He stepped outside, into a world that had been wiped clean. The air itself felt dead. He found Lena in her lab, staring at her nutrient tanks, the ones that held her precious extremophiles, microscopic life from deep ice cores, all gone, the water sterile. Ben joined them, his face pale. The dogs, he choked out. They're gone, not run away, vanished. Their tethers lay on the snow, as if they'd simply evaporated. No footprints leading away. Nothing. Panic began its cold crawl. They searched the base, every room, every storage unit, shouting names, their voices swallowed by the oppressive silence. No reply, only the echo of their own fear. Outside, the world was a blank canvas. No birds wheeled in the pale sky. No Arctic foxes darted across the snow. They had to know the extent. Aris grabbed the skidoo keys. Lena and Ben followed, numbly. They rode out from the base, in a slow, expanding circle, their tracks the only blemish on the pristine, lifeless snow. No animal tracks crossed theirs, no birds flew overhead. The familiar landscape, now alien, hostile in its emptiness, a silent white desert, stretching to the horizon. Ben tried the communications array. The long-range radio crackled, static, then a clear connection. The satellite phone worked too, a fragile link to a world that still lived. But what could they say? How could they explain this? Cryos base reporting? An anomaly? An understatement of cosmic proportions? We are here, Aris would have to say, but everything else has vanished. The words felt like madness. Lena hunched over her laptop, reviewing the data, again and again. The sound, that final, terrible pulse. It had to be the cause. But how? Aris made the call, to the Danish Polar Centre, his voice hoarse, strained. He reported the impossible. The operator on the other end listened in stunned silence. At first, disbelief. Clearly, they suspected equipment malfunction, psychological strain, the notorious Arctic madness. Isolation could do strange things, to the mind, but Aris was firm. His calm, usually reassuring, now sounded chilling. Lena backed him up, sending encrypted data packets, the audio logs, the sensor readings, the stark factual evidence of the sound, and the subsequent total biological absence. Slowly, disbelief turned to dawning horror. In Copenhagen, this was no equipment failure. This was something new, something terrifying, something that required immediate action. The world had to be alerted, cautiously. A reconnaissance flight was scrambled, fast. A long-range jet first. Its cameras scanned the area, from high above, confirming Aris's report, an eerie emptiness. Then helicopters were dispatched, from Thule Air Base, carrying scientific teams and military personnel, armed, wary, prepared for anything, or so they thought. Nothing could prepare them for this, the sheer silent desolation. The rescue team landed. The news broke. First, a trickle. Rumours, whispers, then a torrent, the Greenland silence. It screamed from headlines, across every screen, on every news channel, images of the empty ice, the bewildered faces of Aris, Lena and Ben. Speculation ran wild. Was it a new weapon, a secret military test gone wrong, or something else, something not of Earth? Panic, a cold wave, washed across the globe. Governments scrambled to respond, to reassure. Their carefully worded statements spoke of ongoing investigations, of natural phenomena, but offered no real answers, because there were none. The scientific community was in uproar. Conferences were convened, papers were rushed out, theories proposed, from strange radiations to unknown pathogens to quantum entanglement. None truly fit the bizarre specific facts. Living matter only, within a perfect circle, vanished. An exclusion zone was established around the affected area, 10 kilometers at first, quickly expanded to 20, then 50, a no-fly, no-sail, no-go zone. Patrols enforced it, drones were sent in, their cameras relayed images of the silent, empty land and the iceberg. Aris, Lena and Ben were flown out, evacuated from their silent prison. They underwent weeks of debriefing, quarantine, endless tests, scans. They were, doctors concluded, physically unharmed, normal. But their eyes told a different story, a haunted look that would never leave. They had heard the overture to an unimaginable event. They carried the silence within them, a heavy burden, the iceberg. It remained the focal point of global anxiety. It drifted, unhurried, in the cold Greenlandic waters, a monument of ice and mystery. Was it a natural fluke, a geological anomaly, or something more? A sentinel, a beacon, or a dormant weapon, waiting for its next signal? The questions multiplied. The answers remained elusive. Sensors continued to monitor. The sound persisted. A low, deep thrum, an echo of the event, or a promise of more to come. Some days it seemed fainter, other days stronger, or was it just their fear, amplifying the signal? Humanity found itself listening to the quiet places of the world with a new, profound unease. The mystery of the Greenland silence, it was absolute, unresolved. The world looked to the poles, to the vast frozen wildernesses, not just with scientific curiosity but with a primal fear.